thing is like, we got to put this together painted and not scratch it. Like, oh my God. So yeah, it's got to be, the wife was helping me put it in the first time. That sounds bad.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. I still had to, putting the headers and the engine and stuff back in this Coyote, or in the Coyote in the 66. The header still needed to be like, everything fit, but everything needed to be like, so where you can actually work on it. So I had to like clearance the headers in a bunch of different areas. The motor was in and out. Like, this is the third time in now. And it's to where you have to float the engine and transmission in pretty much the exact right spot, and then move the engine mounts in and just like bolt them in. Like, it's got to be perfect in the right exact spot. So it's a lot. So my shoulders and neck and stuff are just like from putting my hands in like this, you know, doing all that kind of crazy shit. Being a monkey pretty much. Yeah, pretty sore, but it's in there. I'm excited. It's in there. I got all the plumbing and stuff to reinstall again. I just the engine mounts in, transmission mounts, seat mounts, everything was just tacked in. So everything is fully welded in now. So I'm reinstalling everything so we can do like final brackets for all the interior stuff under the dash and stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems like the Mustang aprons, they like make a nice jewelry box because they kind of box in your engine bay, but they're also very in the way of everything for working.
Yeah, that's why I left those areas cut out, and we bolted in those the bottoms of the aprons so you can actually get in there. Otherwise, if we would have just had, you know, flat sheet all the way across, and you wasn't, you know, that would no way. There's no way. Like, you can't even see. You can hardly see where you're putting your hand now to put bolts in. And if that was well welded in and not removable, you would never. I mean, you could probably do it, but it would take you probably 4 times as long. And it took me 8 hours to get that in and out. So
you have to see through your fingertips. You know, when you start feeling around and then your head goes like this, like. Yeah. That's
yeah. My wife knows that look. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Just leave me alone. I'm looking."
I'm looking with my fingers. Yeah. Wasn't it one of the old Mustangs, like the 429s or something? You had to drill holes in the apron to change your spark plugs. Like, that was like a trick with the factory ones.
That's possible. I know there was. I just had a guy tell me that they had to change spark plugs on a big block Shelby Mustang, that they had to take the motor mount out and jack the motor up. So that's probably a similar idea. Instead of taking the motor mount out and jacking the motor up to change a spark plug, they just drilled holes in the aprons, I would imagine.
Yeah, I thought it was
I know the 429. Yeah, 429s, those were, I mean, the heads were super big, but the big blocks in the like 67, 68, I know for sure, the big blocks in those cars were like, they were about a ½ inch away from the master cylinder. So, I mean, those things were freaking tight. Like, I don't even know how they put them out as a production car for how tight everything was. It was really ridiculously dumb and tight. But it's no different than this. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of take, like, in 64, it was almost an economy car. And then people liked it as a toy muscle car, and so they just kept pumping more engine into it without actually changing the body much.
Yep. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I just seen somebody put a ProCharger on a straight 6 in like a 64, 65. It looked pretty awesome.
That actually would be cool.
Looked pretty well. Yeah, I wish I should probably find it, like, listen to what it sounded like. It had to have been like a hopped up motor. I can't imagine they put it on a stock straight 6 and it'd probably blow up.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Oh yeah.
There wasn't much to those.
No, not at all.
So when you're doing that, are you, like, when you plan to put the Coyote in there, was there a bunch of measuring ahead of time? Like, how do you plan that out? Or do you just kind of get the stuff and fit it and take it out and fit it and take it and out and fit it? Like, how do you pre-plan a project like that where you're putting something?
So when when it was in there, but I had everything mocked up in there before, but the firewall and everything was just mocked up. It wasn't welded in. Nothing was welded in. So I had to take the engine transmission back out. But before I took the engine transmission back out, I did mark all the headers and everything. They were all made and installed. I just had them marked so I can basically clearance them around everything that was a little bit too close for my comfort. So I had everything marked, but when you start heating the header up and start, massaging it into place, you lose all your Sharpie marks and stuff. So you quickly lose how far in some of the dents need to be per se. So it had to go in and out a couple times just to make sure that everything was clearanced properly. And then, so I do have to have the flanges trued up just from all the welding and everything on the header. So I have to have that done yet, but I don't think it's going to move too much as far as like being a problem. Yeah, so it's just a bunch of in and out. There's a long process as far as like you have to have the driver's side header bolted to the engine, and get it in a certain way, and then slide the passenger side header in and wire it to the frame, and then go in a little farther and then sneak the starter in and bolt that in with like one hand way down inside. Yeah, I've started a installation and removal process for myself so I don't forget.
Like writing it down or typing it out or something?
Yeah, just making notes, writing stuff down as far as like making sure, and I took pictures as far as like the engine needs to be in this far to be able to get the header in, and it needs to be in this far to get the starter in. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I mean, it's a big motor. It's probably one of the hardest motors to put in something small because it's just so large itself. But I mean, I think it's freaking rad. Like, this thing's gonna sound nuts. That's just me.
Freaking rad. Yeah, it should be pretty wild.
When we ordered the ProCharger, they were asking if we wanted the quiet version or not, and I'm like, wow, it's gonna be, the exhaust is like 5 feet long on each side. I'm like, it's not gonna be a quiet car, so let's just go with the noisy one. So it should sound pretty gnarly.
Where is the exhaust coming out? Rockers before the rear wheels or something?
Yeah. That's where so the chassis was made or was purchased by the previous builder that I took the project over from, and they already had provisions for it to come out there, and they were going to do like the Eleanor side skirts, like the fiberglass ones, and you know how fitting aftermarket fiberglass is, and then like dealing with it. And who wants to really put their name on something fiberglass that is going to it will fail, just a matter of when,
Right.
So that's when we started talking about building stuff out of sheet metal, and then that kind of exploded into building almost everything that wasn't that wasn't metal out of sheet metal. So, I mean, grateful for the customer. I can't imagine pitching this to somebody. He was just like, do it. So, I mean, it's just, it's been pretty awesome. But, yeah, I don't know. I forgot what
with that is that after you have this car done, you'll have something like to really show to pitch future customers. You know what I mean? Instead of just an idea.
That's the idea. For sure. That's why we want to take it to at least some good guys shows at minimum, to try and get our name out there to people that would never have heard of us before. So to me, that's kind of the way things are done nowadays. You just got to bring the cars to the demographic you want to sell them to, I think.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Your customers all good with you showing it at places, or are you guys going to do that kind of together? Or?
He was even cool with me taking it to SEMA if I wanted to. He used to have a spot in SEMA with the company that he has, but they no longer have a spot there anymore. It was an outside spot. So the plan was to take the car there, and like I said, since we started the car, they kind of stopped going because shift changes in their company. So he's like, well, if you want to take it there yourself, you can take it there yourself. I'm like, well, we'd have to line up, some product, a company with a product or something that we can potentially match with, or a product that we already have that we could potentially match up with a company or something like that. We've talked to ProCharger a little bit, but the car is just too far away. It's got to be closer to being a done car to really go that far as trying to get somebody signed on.
Right. Maybe next year.
That's kind of what I thought. I mean, my goal is to next year have it ready for some shows. Paint is going to be like the absolute last thing. So it's going to look like this until it doesn't, until it's painted pretty much. I mean, not as far as like being disassembled, but a lot of the sheet metal work in the front is done. There's just some adapting. I got to weld the rockers on. The scoops got to get welded in. The quarter windows got to get finished out. All the floors got to get welded in, but that's going to be super easy. And the last thing to do, we're probably going to plumb the whole car, like brakes, fuel lines, all that stuff. Get that all done before we final weld the floors in, just for ease of working.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to see stuff like that at shows more now, where people are showing the in-between process, where SEMA used to be more of just like finished builds.
Yeah, the couple of people I talked to about potentially taking a car to SEMA, I asked just in general, because I've never been there, like, what can you bring a car in bare metal and get the same response as a painted car, painted finished car? And everybody kind of said, well, a painted finished car is kind of like the idea. So I get that too. I don't know.
You need two.
I mean, I think it'd be cool to show it off in bare metal.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of your thing.
Yeah, I mean, we also do paint and body here. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to showing it off, in paint, but when you make things out of metal that sometimes you just like glue fiberglass stuff on, like, no, this is actually made out of metal and welded on and TIG welded and hammered out, Yeah, I don't know. Be a little more of a showcase, but I think a painted vehicle it's going to be really rad. We're going to do some spray outs, probably tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow, just get some different color greens out that we want to potentially put on a car, get them sent over to the customer so we can get some kind of a rendering put down.
Nice.
Yeah. So you 1 week closer to launching that Tundra?
I am getting a lot closer. uh, so I've taken, since the last time we recorded, I've taken 2 days off of work and then worked on the weekends. And I got everything basically built for the long travel, and then painted. And then, of course, I don't remember, somebody was talking to me, and then I got the bad idea to just put a bunch of giant dry flake, prismatic flake into my suspension parts. So it's cool though. Under the truck, they catch a little sunlight, and then it's all flaking out. I don't know. I can't help myself. And then so I got everything built, and then it's not right now. It's mocked up on the truck. I tore everything stock out of the truck on a Saturday, and then delightfully, everything that I built off of measurements and then jigged out without ever taking the truck apart slid into place. So
Shit, dude. Awesome.
yeah, it's nice when you got like the upper control arm is one bolt that goes through the one bushing, and then through the shock tower. There's a like a welded in tube that the bolt slides through, like a big sleeve, and then it comes
Okay.
out the other side. And it's nice when you make something, on a Honda CRV removable table, folding table, and then it fits right into the truck that you made it for. So, uh, but everything's going right into place. I mean, it's like almost no adjustment. Big project this week with putting that together was welding in new extended shock towers or coil over mounts, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, on the frame. So I had to cut out mine with plasma and clean it up, and then weld in like an 8-inch taller tower,
Sure.
and then new brackets and everything like that. And built that all out of plate work and gusseted and got it welded in, and then thankfully everything's been fitting nice. It's just a lot of getting the right hardware for everything because I want to have everything match. And then, there's always like 47 different sizes, lengths of bolts
Oh,
and
yeah.
different threads. And so it's been a few
Yeah.
hardware store trips.
Have you noticed that you used to be able to buy bolts that have threads like all the way to the end,
Yep.
and now you buy bolts and there's only like an inch and a quarter of thread on them? That's like so infuriating. I hate it.
Yeah, I can't, if you go to like O'Reilly, so I went to O'Reilly and I bought some 3/8 flanged, 3 inch long, 3/8, 16 flanged bolts, and they're threaded all the way through, but they're sold as a full threaded bolt, not a shanked bolt. So it seems like nobody carries the full threaded ones anymore because
Yeah.
generally, if you're putting a 3 inch bolt in something, you're only putting the nut on the last, inch anyways. So they just figure it's
Yeah, but I
stronger with
mean,
just a shank.
I would just argue that like 3/4 of an inch extra of thread, like make it 2 inches of thread that's going to be, you know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah, I
give me
think
a
that
little bit.
I think they do an inch and a half as standard. Anything over an inch and a half gets a shank. So I think if you get a 2 inch bolt, it's got a 1/2 inch shank, smooth shank on
I don't agree. I disagree with all.
it. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Hardware is such a pain, and it's especially like living in a little town. You can basically get only coarse metric thread stuff, and there's not a lot of selection. You can't get anything over 5 inches unless it's like a standard 1/2 inch or a 3/8 bolt.
Sure.
So it's a battle, but it's okay. A lot of planning ahead of time. But
Sure.
everything's in
Yeah.
and it cycles. Upper ball joints are my limiting factor right now on the travel. So I think I'm getting like 15 inches of travel before I start to put too much pressure on the upper ball joint, which is still a ton.
Do they make like replaceable, more articulating joints for that specific, like
So
using a stock joint?
what you do is you do a uniball.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's what I was going to ask next. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a uniball spherical bearing
Mhm.
type of deal. That's what's in the rod ends on my coilovers. So what I would do is I'd have to make a new upper control arm, and then probably I would just build a new spindle, and then set it up for a uniball. Because right now I'm running OEM spindles and ball joints because it's just what was.
Sure.
I don't know how much I'm gonna really use the truck for jumping and stuff like that. So, and it's not like Florida's full of, mile-long whoop sections where I'm gonna be just pounding the heck out of it. Honestly, if I've got over a foot of travel, I'm killing it. So, if
All
I
right.
ever wanted to go more extreme, it would just be an upper control arm, which I built my upper control arms in like 4 hours, both of them,
Sure.
and just off of a drawing on a sheet, and then so it'd be upper control arms and then spindles with uniballs. The lower ball joints, because the lower control arms are longer, you have less angle on them
That
for
makes
the
sense.
travel. So lower ball joints generally are okay. If you really want to go wild, you uniball both of them if you're building like a true, Baja truck or something like that. But
Something's got a shitload of power.
yeah. But uniballs need a ton of maintenance, whereas a ball joint doesn't. So if I'm going to drive my truck more than I'm going to jump my truck, a ball joint actually is more, better for like longevity and just daily
Yeah,
driving.
I can see wrecking a uniball real fast.
Yeah. Like out west, there's whole businesses or shops that just do like prep, they call it. So they like race prep your truck, and that's taking all the uniballs out, taking all the Heims out, greasing everything, replacing them quite often. Because I think uniballs, if you use your truck, you replace them like yearly.
Wow.
They're not cheap.
That's, that's crazy.
So,
No,
I mean, they are the best for articulation, and they're strong, and they take a beating, but there's a large service factor to it. But it's kind of like anything race car stuff, race trucks. You're gonna have
very-
more service, more replaceable parts, and
yeah, I guess the farther that suspension throws you, I mean, that's all wear and tear and everything. Makes sense.
yeah. So everything's in and cycling. I've got to measure out my. I ordered, parts to just like new rack and pinion steering boots and stuff like that. So like right now I'm waiting on that. I had to get it together so I could measure for the extended brake hoses because it's a flexible line for your brakes. Now that you have a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
bunch of travel, you have to account for that. Plus, it's long.
Sure.
It's the truck's now 3 inches wider per side, and the hub's 3 inches forward. So you're changing like a lot of the geometry on how the brake hose swings. So there's a lot that goes into all of that. And
Sure. Holy cow. I guess I wasn't
so
even thinking about any of that. Holy cow.
yeah. Thankfully, I've screwed with enough stuff that like I kind of have the foresight to plan that I'm gonna need brake hoses. And then I went like stainless hoses with AN fittings to adapt everything. And
Oh, of course.
while I'm in there, I'm ditching the whole ABS and I'm putting in like a manual proportioning valve, a Willwood proportioning valve in it, so I can
Yeah.
set my brake stuff manually and just simplifying the truck so there's less room for error later. Plus, it's just really nice when you hit your brake pedal and it's just like master cylinder goes to calipers instead of master cylinder goes
Yeah.
to a module that's got 47 lines in it and then it breaks away, and it's just a lot of uh, places for air to get caught. And then Toyota also has a load sensing proportioning valve in the rear, even back in like the 80s and
Jesus.
90s. So it's got like an arm that reaches off your differential. And the more your truck squats, it pushes a rod up and it adjusts your brake proportioning.
What?
Yeah, like there's a
Huh.
proportioning valve on the frame, and then it runs off of like a cantilever setup that adjusts your braking. Because if you had like a bunch of weight in the back, you want to change your
Oh, I
front to
guess.
rear brake proportioning. And they work. It's just that just means you have a front brake line goes all the way to the back of the frame to the proportioning valve and then
Mhm.
back up to the front to change it. So
Yep.
you're just adding miles of brake line, and it works good in like an OEM setup, but for somebody that wants to do more obnoxious things with the truck, it's just good to simplify as much as we can.
You put more travel in it, that fucking setup's going to be working hard.
It would be working really hard if it yeah. So, it's coming together good. I'm getting brakes together, and um, the just little things fighting me. It seems like the big parts building the suspension and putting it in, like that all fit really nice. But then changing the upper ball joints to put new ball joints in, like, was the biggest
Oh,
pain ever. Preston ball joint. 20 years
mm.
of working on cars, I've never had to rent a ball joint press until now. It
I,
made me feel like a complete retard. I could
uh,
not get the ball joint out. And then putting
I
it in was
hate,
just as difficult.
I hate doing service work, stuff like that. Fucking hate it. Like, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it,
Yeah.
hate it.
That's why I didn't go into being a lube tech or something for a living, doing
One thing,
breakdowns. And
one body shop I worked at, they would just like literally pull the booth door open, middle of the paint job, and be like, "You got an alignment to do." Like somebody in the mechanic shop changed a ball, like yeah, changed a tire out, and I have to go align it. Yeah, I'm like, dude, shut the fucking door. Like, what the hell?
not a knock on it or anything. They just pop the door
Nope.
open.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, they would have us doing like brakes and suspension work in the body shop because the mechanic shop was too busy. It's like we have a ton of work here. We're not no shortage of work here, but whatever. What are you gonna do? I just
I think
heard
what
that.
you,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think you should have went and got the mechanics and be like, "Hey, we got a car that needs to be painted. Could you swing over and do that?"
No, yeah. These people wouldn't even take front bump. Like if they needed to change a radiator and the front end had to come off, they're like, oh, well that bumper, that's body shop work. They better go and take the front bumper off because I might scratch it. It's like, guys, it's just nuts and bolts. Like when you're a collision technician, you have to do mechanic job and the collision job. Like
Yep.
some of that stuff's frustrating. Anyways,
For the same pay.
no, for different pay. Because if you're in the collision world, it's a different rate.
Oh
So
yeah.
the collision technician is getting paid 100 and some dollars an hour to be a mechanic, and then as soon as he's done with that portion, he gets back down to his very small rate of like I don't know if there's between 60 and 70 around here or something like that. It's nuts. Like and it's all the same person, you know. It's all the same person that's holding all the knowledge. It's just bananas to me. I heard today, I've seen something today that Allstate was using AI to do estimates for collision. Like, I'm glad I'm out of that shit.
Yeah, that's a little bit much.
Yep.
I would argue it's probably more accurate than some adjusters, though.
Oh, way better. But can you imagine trying to make an argument with a computer?
I think that's the point.
I would agree. Yeah,
They're
that's the
removing
part.
the human element because then the more difficult they make it for you to make adjustments to your original estimate, the less likely you are to upcharge them for extra stuff and do extra supplements.
Yeah. It's just amazing to me that these places don't even pay for, like, if you break it down in the P pages of the estimates and what each estimating company considers a repair versus refinishing and all this stuff, almost none of them pay for primer. None of them pay for wet sanding and buffing, unless you take photos of it, wet sanding and buffing. It's bananas. Those, I mean, they're just, you used to be able to make a good living at it. Now you have to have like a person in the office for almost 1 to 2 techs. I think it's got to be now. It's nuts. You're just chasing your tail with supplements all day long.
And that's why neither of us want to do insurance work.
Right on. All right, we should get off insurance work.
Yeah. So I think I blew one of the younger guys' minds that I work on stuff with, or that I talk to about stuff I work on. I sent him a picture of the side profile of the truck with the suspension in, sitting at ride height. And I said, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad that when I planned out my paint job lines that that they actually lined up how I wanted them to, because my upper control arm's red and it's got like an angle to it,
Oh,
and
sure.
that angle sweeps and it matches right into my brake on my brake line on my two-tone on my truck's
Sure.
like paint job. Because it's, for those of you that haven't seen my truck, it's black on top and then it's got white on the bottom and then there's a red jagged brake line with like a drop shadow. And so my upper control arm looks like an extension of the original paint, or of the two-tone brake line. It all lines up perfect. And he's like, wait a minute, if you planned that months ago, that's like getting really deep. And I went, oh, you don't even want to start getting into any of that.
Oh man, that's a wake up in the middle of the night and keep you up forever. I mean, yeah, that's everything. I mean, you're gonna dream about the project being done 20, 30, 40 different ways before it's done. So you got it pretty planned out, you know?
Right. And I mean, the nice thing is I've had months of working on it. So that almost makes it seem more difficult to people that, they buy a part and they put it on. They're not used to like an actual large build process, but so because there's so much time in between steps. But anytime I put a line, especially on a paint job where there's, like a brake line in something or even just a stripe, everything always has a purposeful start and finish spot. You don't just like lay a stripe on a car without it, having a purpose or meaning somewhere where it starts and
Yeah.
ends. And I think that is a large part of the difference between, like, you've seen a car with racing stripes on it that doesn't look good at all. And then you see, like a 60s Mustang, the stripes actually, they widen out and they change as they curve over
Right.
over the car. They're different width at the front of the hood where they're at the back versus on the roof. Everything changes so it pleases the eye, the whole way through. You're not just taking a paint roller and running a straight line over the top of a car, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they had it figured out. I mean, some of the Shelbys, when you look at them, if you've seen I seen a picture of a bunch, I think there was like 360, like 65 fastbacks on a trailer, and they were all Shelbys leaving the Shelby factory. And like some of the lines were like they tried to do a good job, but then some of them, when they whipped them out, I mean, the one was like on the tail of the car were just like way wide at the bottom. But yeah, some of them were hilariously bad.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them probably got fixed at the dealer and stuff like that.
When I was working at a dealership not too long ago, a lot of the cars were like with factory stripe kits on them. They were not that straight, and then,
Yeah.
uh, and then even worse, the stuff that the body shop was doing, whether they were putting a stripe kit on a car or they were um, painting something, the room for error is very large, and it's if you have somebody
Oh,
that
yeah.
sees that kind of stuff, it's just I don't know, it's really hard to look at sometimes.
Yep.
Nothing worse
Yeah.
than when a stripe on the hood comes down, it's split by the grill, and then where it meets the bumper, all of a sudden like the gap is different on the stripes, or they're something's off a little bit.
It's good
It's all
stuff,
too common.
right? It definitely is. But sometimes that's good enough for some people, and that's kind of a frustrating part of it, when you're trying to make something as nice as possible. Some people are just okay with it being looking okay.
Yeah, you have to do the things right because that's what you want to do. Because so when I did my front bumper on the truck, I did that pre-runner bumper. I had cut my frame rails back and got to get the right sweep on it, and it's got like the trapezoidal skid plate on it, and then the bars that are outside of it, and then there's like the upper bar, the middle bar, all that. And when I lay all that out, same thing with like putting stripe on a car, the angle of my skid plate is set up so it lines up to the ends of my middle grill bar, and then the outer bars that hold the bumper bar up, those ones are at a sweep that they point at the outer edges of the grill housing, like and everything comes down and matches, and then my middle bar that's like kind of the cross member at the where the frame horns are, it's got the same curve and sweep to it as the lower part of the grill. So everything has like a start and a finish and a purpose. But when people look at my bumper, they go, "Oh, that bumper looks nice," but they don't know why it looks nice.
Yeah, right.
But for some reason, there's just like a continuity to them that it all comes together, but they don't realize necessarily that each bar had to get looked at from seven different angles and get put in
Yeah, I mean, I
to
think
make it all come together.
there's a difference between not calling myself a craftsman. I think I aspire to be a craftsman to some extent, but and having a finish in mind that's like if you're going to build it the way it should, build it the way you want it to be and the way it should be. Just like spend a little bit of extra time to make it the right way. That was been the theory going into this 66, and it's just kind of I don't know if it's a testament to the work I was started doing on the car that they wanted to keep going and take it the distance, or I don't really know what it is, but you just have to have the end like a cohesive goal, I guess, to make sure everything is when you're standing back, like make sure you're standing back and like you when you're sitting building a car too close, I think you're missing stuff.
Yeah, I think the fact that you care goes a long way.
Well, that's probably it too.
I think a large part of that stuff dying too is because people don't know what goes into it anymore, so they don't necessarily appreciate it the same as because for
I
every
think TV
200 people
shows
that
from
see
an
the
extra,
car, you're going to get one guy that actually understands what you do. You know what I mean?
hmm.
Most people are just like, "Oh, nice Mustang."
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think some of these TV shows, like they almost like the internet's almost better a certain way because they're showing the good and the bad, and you can kind of tell who's hokey and who's not. And like these TV shows, they kind of mask over all of that. You can have somebody that really doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and the car's painted coming out of the booth, and it looks fantastic on TV. But Jesus, you see some of these. I've seen TV cars in person, and I'm not gonna say who or what, but I mean, some of them look like shit. Like they weren't that cool in person. Like, you know,
Uh, when I was in college at Wyotech, my instructors actually did an overhaul in car with
sure.
overhauling because they used to do
Yeah.
like Wyotech specials and whatever. And they were telling stories about like a lot of behind the scenes things that basically the big builders would come in and they would do their part, and then they'd leave at the end of the night, and then the like my instructors and then they had some students. They would have to work all night,
Oh,
fixing runs in the paint and overspray and buffing and making it so stuff that was done in a rush. And not to say that any of these builders can't do an amazing job, but when you're doing a 7-day build or whatever these are,
that's,
you know what I mean? They just
it's going to
go
happen.
in and hammer on 5 coats of clear and it's dripping off the rocker panels, and then you've got to come through and cut all that off and then block it all out and buff
Yeah.
it. And so yeah, on the show you get you get your main guy in the booth spraying the car down and it looks great, and they'll show like one corner with a high gloss on it reflection, and then they don't show that the whole driver's door window was covered in overspray and all sorts of stuff that had to get cleaned up by other
Yeah.
people. But
Sometimes you can see like there's a guy in the corner like wet sanding, but he's like
yeah,
around the corner and you can barely see what he's doing, but he's definitely wet sanding.
yeah, I think they should show a lot of that stuff. I think it would give the world a lot of humility if they realized what actually went into all this
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't think they would ever do that, especially on a TV show. There's like there's too much like you show them fucking up on TV and they, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a hard thing because a lot of these people have businesses and stuff. So how do you do that too, without
I
looking
kind
like
of
too much of a dumb?
When I do my YouTube videos, I like to throw in like the mess up stuff.
Sure.
Just not like major mess ups, just like yesterday we were doing putting tires on the beadlocks, and I get my wife set up with the camera, and I go get an impact, and I like tell my buddy what size I need because I was working at his place, and because he always does my tires, and I tell him what size I need. I get the impact, I'm all set up. I'm like hit record, and I go down to start taking all the beadlock ring bolts out, and I go down and I put it on and I hit it and it just spins on the bolt, and I went, huh, that's not a 9/16. And then of course she hits stop, and then I go back and get the right one, and then she starts filming again, and I was like, that's absolutely going in the video,
Yeah, I get that.
because it's not like a screw up, but we all go through it. I was
Oh,
live streaming on Friday while I was building my upper shock mounts, and while I was drilling, because I don't have a drill press here, so I'm drilling, just some pieces in place and
oh,
a
yeah,
cordless
it's
drill, and
agonizing.
I'm drilling, and my cordless battery died, so I'm using the corded drill, and I'm
Oh,
drilling like that, and it catches the piece, and
yep,
it spins the drill and hits me in the nuts, and then wraps the cord around my arm.
yep. Fucking cars, man.
But and it's live stream, and I just kind of laugh, and then for about 10 minutes, because I got so thrown off by that, I was like just knocking stuff off the table and dropping everything, and it only takes one sack tap to throw your
Oh
whole
yeah.
game off for a little while. But
Yeah, I can relate. But yeah, even crawling underneath this car, trying to get this thing in and out, thinking you have the right socket and now like, well, shit, I need a short. I don't need a long, like Jesus Christ. Now I got to crawl all the way up. And then you have the engine hoist underneath of it and then a jack underneath, holding the transmission.
oh
So
yeah,
you can't just put a creeper underneath there. So you're crawling, you know, over the engine stand legs and it's a good time. Good
yeah,
time.
I have some like I probably have 6 sets of sockets here at the house, and I have a couple of them that I bring the container down. Like I have the ones in the toolbox, and then I have a couple of like just Blue Point kits with all the sockets in them that I'll like slide under the truck with me or the car with me, because I just know that I'm going to think it's a 12 and it's an 11 or a 13 or something like that. And so instead
Yep.
of crawling out 11 times, it's just okay to have a cheap set with you.
Yeah, that's probably true. I should probably get like better organizers for my toolbox and stuff. It's just, I've always just been like, it works. So I just keep making it work, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't get too nuts about like over organizing my toolbox because usually when I'm grabbing sockets and stuff, it's pretty thrashy anyways. So, um, I don't know. My toolbox is clean now aside from you on it now.
What a mess.
Yeah. It's-
I like to organize before and after a project, but during it, it's kind of all bets are off. I'm just
Oh yeah. Yep.
in the
Same.
in the time you're on it, you're just kind of thrashing. You're grabbing tools and you're just throwing that one back up on top of the toolbox. As long as everything lands on top of the toolbox, I'm generally okay. And then if I catch 5 minutes here or there while I'm having a drink or whatever, I'll pull a chair up to the toolbox and try to put things back. But there's a reason I've got like 7 3/8 ratchets in my toolbox, so I can just have like one socket on this one, and then I throw it on the top, and I just grab a new socket and
Yeah.
a new ratchet and go back at
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, I should actually buy more 3/8 ratchets. That's a really great idea. Ah, then I'm gonna have to. I already have too many things floating around. I don't need to confuse myself anymore.
Yeah. I'll be like, was that the pink handle or the orange handle or the black handle?
And then one will go missing, and it'll just drive you nuts because that was your favorite.
Yeah. I when I was a kid, I used to lose sockets and ratchets and wrenches all the time. And it was always my dad's, and he
Oh
always
yeah.
told me when you start buying your own tools, you're not gonna lose them the same, or you're gonna start caring a lot more. And boy was he right, because when we started renting that shop when I was 16, I had my toolboxes out there and people are borrowing stuff and they go missing, and oh, did it drive me crazy.
Mm.
Once you start putting hours to dollars, it changes things a lot.
Oh yeah. Even when you like lose a tool yourself, and it literally takes you like an hour to find it. Not that you're like looking for it the whole time, but you like even like it's been a day sometimes, or it's been. I had a screwdriver in that Nash over there, and I thought it was gone, and it was about a month later, and I like just glance inside. I'm like, no shit, there's my big flat screwdriver.
That'll happen when you got a few projects going.
Yeah, and then I immediately ruined it doing whatever I was doing, so I need to get that warranted now too. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I've got a snap-on ratchet that the soft grip, the end of it, like the last half inch, just has broken clean off. But I don't
Hmm.
really want to go out of my way to hunt down a snap-on guy just to get a grip changed on a ratchet. So
Yeah, I have body hammers, that snap-on body hammers that were like they were like 6 months old when and they were the wedges were coming out and the wood was like kind of fucked up on it, the handle. Talk to the guy and he just tells me to soak it in a bucket of water. Like a snap-on dealer told me to soak my body hammer in a bucket of water. Like, cool, man. Thanks for all
super
the good.
helpful.
Yeah, yeah.
It's probably
What are
just
you gonna
that guy, because I've had
do? It was an
handles
old Claire.
replaced. Yeah, I've had handles replaced by the snap-on guy without a problem.
Really?
Yeah.
I just got to hit the guy up again. I think we've talked about this.
I do
Uh,
love my snap-on body hammer, yeah.
yeah, I do. I have a buddy of mine gave me some body hammers that he found on Marketplace, and they were like some of them are fairly cheap, but man, they are fucking nice. I got a bunch of different Blue Point ones from some auction thing a while back, but my favorite one is
Just getting it out.
it's this guy. This is my
Oh,
favorite.
is that a point on it?
I
Oh yeah.
mean, that's the flat, like a flat point.
Oh yeah, that I like that one.
Yeah. This one for me, it's like got the perfect weight. I love this thing.
Hmm.
It's my favorite.
That's
And
that's the old
they all need
cross
to be
keen.
polished. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually that's my one snap-on hammer out of my set that's missing, and that was my favorite one. Which is probably why it's missing, because I used it a million times. With body hammers, do you have the same inclination as me that you want to have a wood handle?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have a better feel. I do have some, like, this is actually, let me find this one. It's not going to be here. So this is actually kind of a similar one. This is one my buddy gave me. It's similar to that other one, but it's just a fiberglass. I don't even. It's got to be a cheap ass. But this is like a flat radius this way, so
Yep.
you can get inside something. And then this is a little bit, just basically a bigger version of that last hammer I showed you. So between that hammer and this hammer, I don't even know. I think my buddy Tim gave this to me. I think I'm not really sure, but it's not a very nice hammer at all. Actually, it mars up and shit. It's super cheap, but it works really well. I'm not too much of a like a name brand whore as far as you need to have all the right stuff. You use whatever works. I mean, it'd be not. I definitely want to. If I could find some that weren't all uber expensive to replace them with, I would. But if it works, it works.
For pounding sheet metal, though, there's something with the hickory handle that the feedback I get in my hand, I just like it. I feel like I'm more connected to what I'm doing when I'm doing that. Whereas, like, I feel like the fiberglass handles kind of dull the feel.
Yeah, it's definitely not. You don't get the same, like when you feel the hammer and then it connects through the sheet metal to the dolly. There's definitely a different feel, like way different feel. I feel like I get what you're saying. I can't say that it's a better or different, but it's just, or better or worse, it's just different.
Yeah, I mean, it's not what feels good to me might not be the same for somebody else, but I just like that feedback through the wood handle because I can you can almost sense your pressure or like how hard you're hitting better because
Or even if you're
solid,
or even if your placement is right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I dig that.
You ever get into the shrinking hammers?
They don't really exist. They don't work. You mean those fucking waffle things?
Yeah, or they have like the knurl on the outside.
What those things actually do is just gather the material and try and shoot it up into the cutouts, I guess. So you're just perforating the steel to a certain extent. You're not you're gathering it and perforating it if you hit it hard enough. But you can also stretch it by doing that. So there's not really I've never seen it like successfully done with one of those and I've been to a lot of metal shaping things and talked to a lot of different people, and I've never heard anybody say this is the hammer that works for shrinking. I mean, you can a shrink disc. Have you ever used a shrink disc before?
Mm.
No.
No. Oh, he's on his feet. We'd like to take a minute to thank our. We don't have any sponsors. To thank our viewers.
Not yet. So this is a little guy. You put this on your like little electric grinder or whatever. But I do have a big dog here. So this is like on your buffer, kind of a buffer deal. So this is spun flat stainless. There's different versions of it. But the idea is if you have, it creates heat on the high sides of something. If you definitely want to get it, whatever your repair, if it's a repair, you want to get it planished out and basically with beat around the bush, get all the wrinkles out, get it planished out, figure out where your high spots are, and they'll present themselves as soon as you start planishing this stuff out. You'll have high spots or low spots. You want to get them all the stretched steel out, so it's not in, it's out, so it catches the flat part of the plate here. And then naturally creates heat on the high spots. And there's people that quench it with water. I've heard that the molecules in the steel will settle better if you let it cool by itself. And I seem to get better results if you just let it cool by itself.
I'd agree.
But everybody's got their own way to do stuff and has their own ideas and stuff. But it's all about results. If you can get results on what you're doing, just keep doing it that way. But there's always tips and tricks, and every day's a school day with this stuff. There's always something to learn.
I only like quenching with water or air if I'm trying to make like a really big shrink. Like if you have something that's super stretched out, because it seems like when you quench it, it pulls everything in real tight quickly. So like eliminates the oil sand real fast.
But you can, I think you can only do it so much, and because you'll harden.
Yep.
You'll harden steel, and you'll only be able to do that so many times before the steel gets really brittle, I think.
Yep.
I've
never done a real application.
There are ways to, right. I mean, there are ways to shrink steel or shrink a high spot or a stretched area in a repair with a hammer and dolly.
Yep.
So I mean, just by taking like just your hammer and dolly, and just like instead of coming straight down on something, you can come from the side and tuck that high spot. And I mean, if you spend some time with it, I mean, you'll the first couple of times you'll do it, you'll probably overstretch it, and it'll be a pile of shit probably. But it's hard to tell. If you have somebody there helping you, it seems you can do it. It's definitely doable if it's not stretched too far.
Yeah, I actually almost never hit my body hammer straight at the piece of metal. I'm always like glancing across it to move the metal in the direction I want. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I've definitely had a lot of young body guys in shops I worked with. I mean, obviously I was the young body guy at one point, but in shops I worked
Oh,
at,
roller, man.
and
Hell yeah.
they like see me sliding the hammer as it hits the surface. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
glancing and pushing it in a direction. I'm not just going bang bang straight into the dolly.
Yep.
Whereas that's what people do because that's what you see on TV, and that's if there's never an explanation, and all you're doing is stretching already stretched out steel even more.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. And there's something to be said as well for the longevity of your body. If you're gonna, I think this was something, I thought this was like it was on like some Jesse James thing where he went overseas and he was talking to some blacksmither, and he's like, if you do this rotating motion, if you have to do a bunch of hammer and doweling, instead of going like up and down or in just like a back and forth motion, even if you're going from the side, instead of going like straight, get it in a rotation, you'll be able to do it 3 times as long. Like, and your muscles won't be fatigued because you're stopping and starting in that direction. So you just rotate it do an oval with your wrist,
This will probably come to you as a surprise, probably not. But when I was still living up in Wisconsin, I built a big propane forge, like all handmade burners and everything like that. And I was
Okay.
forging stuffs out because everybody was watching Forged in Fire at that time.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you were like making knives and shit.
Yeah, so I think maybe that was shortly after I was working with you. But I was making all sorts of stuff. I'd make brackets for things. I was making tools and like scrapers and different things to pound with and wedges and things like that. But I would swing my 10-pound sledge with a short, like a 1 foot handle on it. And
Sure.
like if you're like blacksmithing like that, most of the time you're not hitting super straight. It's just like doing body work. You're moving
Right.
the metal in the direction. So like as I hit, I'd snap my wrist to pull something, you know. And yeah, you get that like rhythm going where that you're picking up with the bounce and you're rolling everything. Like you can almost just
Yeah.
keep it going in a circle in it
Yep.
for eternity. I'd
Sure.
be amazed how long you can swing a 10-pound hammer if you got a rhythm going with it and
Yes.
like that rotation.
Yep. I mean, you're probably still going to be sore, but
Yeah, and then nobody's coordinated enough to do it with their left arm. So, or their non-dominant arm, and so like I'd come in and my right arm is completely full of blood in my shoulder and stuff like that. So it looks like 15% larger than my left arm for like 20 minutes.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so if
Ethan
you
had
didn't
some
want to look
long
like a dork, when you're reheating your piece after hammering it, you put the sledge in your left arm, and then you're like doing lifts with your left to keep your
Mhm.
body balanced. Because otherwise, like you'll tweak your back bending the same way every time like that. And so like as I was doing like in between stuff, I'd be like working out the other side of my body just so I'd
Yep.
keep straight and even.
That's why I'm still going to
Yeah.
physical therapy. I'm pretty much out of the woods as far as that goes, but I just worked like a dog too fucking long, and I worked myself into some weird. I I have this. Everything's pulling to my right shoulder, so I'm trying to get everything pulled away from my right shoulder. So if I'm all weird and I'm not tweaking, I'm just like trying to fix my muscles.
Fix
But
my
we're
muscles.
super close. Yeah, working on this fucking thing. Oh, that really put me backwards for a couple of days, but we're feeling a lot better today.
Yeah. I think rolling around under cars is more suited for you when you're in your teens and 20s than it is afterwards.
Yes. Unfortunately, to have somebody that's good at being underneath of a car, they're probably not going to be good at working on the car.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess that's being pretty judgy. There are some young guys. I shouldn't say that. There's some really young guys that are super talented. I shouldn't say that. I misspoke. Don't cancel me.
well, I don't think it's that. I just think, and it's hard because like when we were in our 20s, I'm sure we thought we were awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But
but for me and you though, I mean, the place that we work together between, I mean, me, you, and one other guy, I do believe we were the shining stars at that place.
I know that's why I made 1550 now.
I'm not saying as far as that goes. I'm saying,
Yeah, I know.
you know, the other people, as far as the other people that work there and their, I guess, relationship with cars. I guess if that makes sense. Um, Everybody has their own who they want to be and their own what group they want to be put into, and I don't know. I've always tried I've always had a vision of something like this, but I never thought it'd be possible. But so that was always my goal, is like to work at a shop that had stuff like this. Now, I never thought I'd have my own shop or anything like that, but I never thought I would be leaving the industry of working on old vehicles, and I never thought that you and the other guy we worked with there were ever going to be like, we're done forever with cars. Like, this is a lifelong passion. I guess that's what a roundabout way of saying it. It's like, it's definitely a life passion. It's not just something we're into and a job we have.
Yeah, I do. I know exactly who you're talking about, and that place was really for I don't know how old I was, 2021 when I worked there, and that place for young man's, you know, fragile ego was really hard because I'd make the smallest mistake and the boss would come down on me like I was the biggest idiot he had ever met.
Oh yeah.
And so like I always felt this big, you know what I mean? And then
But there's almost no shop that I haven't felt that in though.
well they want to keep you, it's like an
Aside from
abusive
the last couple.
relationship. They want to keep you down so you don't feel like you can go anywhere, you don't feel like you can do any better, you don't feel like they have to pay you more. You know what I mean? And it's not, I mean, that's a generalization, but it really is holds true to a lot of places because these, especially small companies, the owners get to a point where they realize how much they depend on the employees. You know what I mean? Like they like to think of
Yeah,
employees as
I
numbers.
mean, I,
I'll hire another guy, but
I think there's a tide. There has been a tide change. I mean, I think those places are far and few between now
yeah,
more than ever. Um, I mean, the last place I worked at, they're looking for people to come in the body shop, and they just can't find anybody. That like, there's literally just nobody out there. Um,
right.
but I mean, they have a better culture than a lot of the body shops I've ever worked at, and it's just, unfortunately, it's if you don't have the people there to see it, you can't. How do you even, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have technicians there to see your culture, how are you ever going to expand on it? That's a tough bridge to cross now, because you don't have technicians coming in to expose what the the work environment to you. There's nobody there, you know?
Right. When we were, you know, in high school age, you know, so let's say early 2000s, it seemed they kept talking about there's going to come a time where everybody went to college to work in an office and people that do things with their hands like the craftsmen are going to be the commodity. And I didn't think it'd ever be in my lifetime, but it seems like just like you're saying, there's just no body guys anymore, there's no painters anymore, there's nobody
Yeah.
to really do much anymore. We got AI being the insurance adjuster, you know what I mean? Like the hands-on stuff is
Yeah.
disappearing.
I mean, I think to a certain extent, there are going to be some automated things happening, but I mean, you can't, with collisions, fixing is fixing. Somebody's going to have to do it. And I mean, you're starting to see a lot of younger people get into body work, but it's still kids getting into body work. I mean, there's a lot to know, unfortunately, like a lot, especially if you're going to be a collision tech start to finish. That's a lot of responsibility. Like, you have to know how to legally weld a panel on, you know,
Right.
and you have to make sure that the company you work for is giving you all the information to weld on the quarter panel the right way, so the liability is on the manufacturer and not you, because this is the way the manufacturer wanted it installed and not you know. So I don't know. I shouldn't say. Should probably bleep out. We're gonna get fucking sued because they are old. Oh yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm an old junk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Tammy's got almost got the body for that 32 all scratched up, and we just got to do a final clean tomorrow morning, and we're gonna be pre-priming the body. We got all the body parts, got it blown apart a while ago, and the body parts all epoxy primed. So that's gonna get thrown back together, and the customer's taking that back to get it running, and he's got a bunch of stuff he wants to do to it. So that'll be leaving here pretty quickly. So that's kind of exciting. Just like a little bit of change in the shop, and we got a couple customer cars that are going to be coming in fairly soon too. So as far as just getting some stuff here for the winter and getting some of the parts coming in for stuff and this and that. But this next month, which is what, Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it is, I got to put some time in the 69, get those unisides installed in this thing, or get a good jump on it anyway. So the car that never leaves.
Yep. And that
They're all
32
like
you're
that.
talking about is the Brookville Roadster we talked
Yeah,
about.
I guess I really shouldn't. People yell at me for calling it a 32. I don't know. I don't know. It's in the eye of the beholder, you know. You want to
Oh,
tell
whatever.
people it's real, I could care less.
I don't think most people would know the difference.
Probably not. I mean, there's a lot of like, you would think that, there's like door latches, and then the, what do they call them? They're like alignment pegs or whatever that hold the door from up and down. I can't remember what they're exactly called, but they don't have there's no holes for anything. So you got to drill everything. So it's like a lot of general setup of very general things. So it's just a lot of dicking around, You
Yeah.
can't just bolt the latch in and adjust it. It's locate a hole on one side, attach it, then I don't know, tape the latch or the striker to the other side, and hope you get, I don't, you're guessing to a certain extent.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Educated, experienced guess.
Experienced guess. That's all any of this is, right?
Right. I'm kind of dealing with that. Like putting my suspension in, like it took 10 minutes to put the upper control arms in, lower control arms in, put the coilover in, and slide the spindle, into both.
Mhm.
And it looks like I have a suspension, but now I just have 800 little things to do to make it so it's actually a driving machine.
Who knows?
And none of
Yeah,
it's glorious.
I had one of the guys that kind of the not a build manager, but a guy that's still kind of involved in this 66. He came this week and asking about progress, and it's like, well, I would have been like, the car would have been almost done if we could have used the stock, almost anything on the car. Like that's the front bumper I built out of like flat sheet metal, the whole, redoing the headlight eyebrows and welding them on, and you have to refloat the headlight behind it. That's a ton of work. Like that's not just something you can bolt on by any means, So what else, you got to know all kinds of stuff.
Takes a big dog to weigh a ton.
Shit. So do you have like a bunch of car shows in the area? Do they, like in Florida, they do car shows like year round kind of a thing? Or is it still kind of seasonal?
So there is events and stuff all year round. In my area, like if I didn't want to drive more than half an hour, a lot of it is kind of, what's the word? All of it's kind of based off the snowbirds, because the guys in my area, it's the poorest county in Florida, I believe. And so the guys that have cars are the retired snowbirds that are here. And so
Sure.
when it is the winter time and they're all down visiting, that's when there's like a lot of car shows. We do have a couple summer ones in town, but it pretty much gets to, in the wintertime, every Saturday there looks like there's a whole Corvette show at the VFW. Like they have a Saturday morning show. I know that's
What's
funny,
with
but
all the khakis?
it's just
Uh,
jean shorts and tall white socks.
that's so hot. I can't wait to be that guy.
And then you got to have the white T-shirt tucked into your jean shorts with the like
Oh,
three
yeah.
inch by 6 inch American flag on the chest.
Yep. And you got to stand next to your car. You can't stand by anybody else's.
Yeah, don't. Mm-mm. You got to let people know.
This is my Corvette. This is mine.
Yeah, it's red.
They only made 3 of them like this.
Yeah, they only made 3 of them with the lighted defrost button on it. You know, it's a rare option.
One of one.
I have a flame shift knob.
Yeah, they don't even make them anymore.
They don't make those anymore. Yeah. Yeah, but like from my understanding, if you're a car guy in like Miami, it's every night of the week you can find an event.
I believe that.
I was
But
watching,
that's me.
yeah, it's Miami. It's like it's just a party. We actually haven't even gone to Miami. We've lived here for 5 years. We haven't gone to Miami. I'm not really totally into the city life, so
Yeah, me neither.
there are a couple shops I want to go down there and take a look at, though.
That would be the only reason why I would want to go, just to see just to see the car culture and then to see the shops that would be associated with that said culture potentially.
Yeah, there's one I really want to go do like a shop tour at for my YouTube channel. The guy's got his dad started the company and he used to just be like a muscle car dealership. He'd just sell muscle cars. And then
Sure.
as the son came in, he um, goes to Japan and buys like Japanese
Oh,
auction cars and he brings over
dude.
just these like custom built in Japan cars where like it
Yeah.
was like real high end builds but like just for one guy or a high end shop did it, and then he brings
Sure.
them to America and shows them off and
Sure.
then sells them. So it's just
That's really
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's like stuff you just see on YouTube or whatever, and then or in like a Japanese magazine or old Japanese DVDs, and then he'll buy these cars, he'll hunt them down and buy them and bring them back here, and then he's got a showroom just full of like top secret Supras that have Skyline engines in it, or you know what I mean, and he's got a whole bunch of wide bodied Porsches that were done by RWB, and um, he found there's an RX-7 that was a time attack car specifically built for one track in Japan, and
That's
it's
crazy.
like this car was in all of like the old option DVDs. Like when you could buy these Japanese like racing DVDs and watch these old
Oh,
videos. And this
sure.
car was like the Time Attack special car, super build RX-7 from back then, like super famous car in a bunch of magazines. And he bought it and brought it back to America, and now it's like sitting in a showroom in Miami. So it's just like stuff you'd never really get to see if you didn't go to Japan, and he sells it here and finds like cool places for it. And they finance like you can get like a 10-year loan on some $60,000 90s Toyota.
Oh yeah, baby.
It's almost worth it. If you see some of these things, like they have a R30, they might have sold it now, but they had an R34 Skyline that was built by HKS for a guy. And it was like an old Japanese guy that would gamble. So he'd go to Tokyo or one of the big towns or Osaka or something, and it was like a 2 hour drive from where he lived, and he'd go every I don't know Friday night or something to go gambling, and he was doing like 200 miles an hour for like a 30 minutes on the highway, or obviously not 30 minutes, but for a 2 hour drive, he'd be going 150 plus miles an hour, and so HKS built him the car, and like it's got an HKS build logo on it, like a nameplate and stuff
Holy
like
shit.
that. They built it specifically for him, so it's like a super tuned up. They showed a video where I'm sure they were filming in Mexico, but they were on the highway doing like 160 plus miles an hour on the highway, and like the guy's got one hand on the steering wheel, like the thing is just like on rails. I mean,
Crazy.
just like ridiculous build cars, like to like the you're putting all this time into this Mustang. It's stuff like that, but like Japanese car in Japan, where
Oh, yeah.
this was the build for them to do, where they have years into it and just development and
Sure.
development and development. And so I don't know, it's just super wild, and I just love to go up there and just check the cars out, even though everything is like 100% out of my budget.
Wasn't that Jeremy Clarkson from that Top Gear? Didn't he wreck his neck with a GTR?
That sounds
That's a
familiar.
GTR or something like that. That show, you ever watched that older Top Gear, like the original Top Gear?
Yeah, I used to back in the day.
That was a freaking awesome show. Like I really love. It's still like the videography in that show, man, is so good, so good.
Oh yeah.
And then the newer one with Dax and that they did, not the other guys, but the one that had Dax and that other actor in it, that was actually really good, I thought.
I've seen some of them, and they're all right. Jeremy Clarkson, just like the passion you could see that would come through
Yeah,
the TV from him. I
for
remember
sure.
the Porsche 918 Spider video. He was there was like a 15-minute segment on the brakes, and he's like silicon carbide, and he just like kept saying it, and it was like a romance novel to brake rotors. And he like
Really?
he'd be going and he'd be like silicon carbide.
Oh, that's good
Yeah, I
stuff.
don't have TV like that.
No, that's where like when they redid it with Dax Shepard and stuff, he was actually like they would hit each other with stuff. They were wrecking stuff. It was pretty cool. But I imagine it probably got shut down pretty fast, But I don't know.
Yeah, actually, think I heard an interview. I think the one guy that was on that, one of the British dudes that was on that last one, I can't remember his name, but he was on Joe Rogan or something like that, and he was talking about like how dangerous a lot of the stuff they were doing was.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Like some of the wrecks, they thought people were dying. Like they were for sure somebody died
No
in
shit.
them, but oh yeah, but
Oh,
luck be a lady, they were all right.
yeah. I mean, they did do some really wild stuff, like the double decker bus races or like the double decker cars where the bottom one controlled the gas and brake, and the guy on the top controlled the steering. I mean,
Oh
yeah, they did some crazy stuff.
yeah. Now, if you want to see something like that, you got to watch Whistling Diesel.
Yeah, they still have like Eva Destructions in town. There's one coming up. I kind of want to go to it.
Those were in Marshfield, right?
Yeah, or not Marshfield Speedway is just out of Marshfield, but yeah,
By the Sweet
there's
Dance
a bunch
Club.
of races last night. What's that?
By the Sweet Dance Club.
Oh yeah, baby, up
What
there.
What do you got in the works for this coming week?
I think I'm just gonna get in this. I want to keep working on this. I got some spreads I want to do on this, and I want to get I'm sorry, when I say this, the 66 Mustang, I want to get the front end thrown back on it. I have some, I have to make basically cut the reliefs in the hood out to come down to the back of the radiator. So there's like a flow through. That was the whole idea of having the reliefs in the hood. So I have to get everything kind of mocked back up in the front of the vehicle. I have we have to make hoses to connect the radiator. We got to plumb pretty much everything. So everything now is getting thrown back in it so we can plumb the whole car. So I want to get as much as I can get done on that in the next 2 days, as well as priming that body for the 32. And then I think by the end of the week, I want to get, but maybe next week, I'm not sure. But by the end of this week, I want to get my brain wrapped around and start cutting into the 69 to get the unisides put on the inside as far as the roof structure and all that stuff that needs to be replaced. I got kind of wrap my mind around how I want to attack it. I might like cut one side out at a time and make sure that what I'm replacing is installed in the right spot. So I'm not cutting it all out and then trying to figure it out later. So
Right.
some figuring out to do there. I've never replaced the roof structure on a Mustang before. This is the deepest I've ever been in on a Mustang, and I've worked on a lot of Mustangs, like a lot.
You just put Mustang roofs on other cars.
Yeah, we've done that, but yeah, right. The roof conversions, those are pretty straightforward. But as far as cutting a roof off a car goes,
Yeah, I just my week's gonna be steering in the truck, getting that rack and pinion extended because that's
Mhm.
new tie rods in there and outer, but I have to make extension pieces because it has to reach farther and then it's got more angle on it, so I have to do a few things there and then wait for some brake parts to come in because I didn't want to just order willy nilly some brake hoses and then if I had them too short or too long, deal with it then. I waited
Sure.
until I could actually measure because it's
Yeah, that
not
makes
like
sense.
a huge rush to get it back together. I find that if I'm rushing to get something back on the road, I generally
You're
even
skipping
against
steps
my
here.
even against my better judgment, I'll like go, oh, I'll just catch that next week or something like that, and then it'll be months.
Yeah, that's the sucky part about doing stuff like even here ourselves, not having a bunch of employees is you hit a spot and you're like, well, we should probably just order the right part, wait for it, and then install it to make sure we're doing it once instead of, I mean, I have examples of other shop stuff here hanging on the walls, like the headers that were built for this car. They're brand new ceramic coated headers. So if anybody needs Coyote headers, that I don't know what they're going to fit, but they fit a Coyote in something. But yeah, they don't fit this car, and they're just hanging on the wall. We got to sell them when the excuse me, sell them when the car gets done. But I don't like getting rid of parts until the whole project's completed. But
Right.
yeah, so there's almost every vehicle in here. There's an example of something that wasn't thought through at all,
Yeah, it
or
happens.
was thought through.
That definitely happens.
Hmm.
We've done it too.
Well, I mean, the only reason I think I have I don't know, that I have my mind wrapped around it a little bit better than some, is just from, not necessarily from the restoration side. I think it comes from the collision side when you're taking apart and putting together so many different vehicles. And like, I really like how on this car, I can actually get my hand behind here. And, so it's like, if you have to work on it and you have to take it apart, especially a vehicle like this, where, and with the 66, where the motor's coming in and out, how many times you have to make sure it's set up to where, to me, at least like one or like two, when it's painted, two guys probably put it in, but I can put this in by myself. So like, that's the idea, is not have a crew of people here. If the motor's got to come out, I can't rely on three extra people to show up. And why would you want it to be that hard? So you need to
Right.
make it like serviceable. You need to make sure that somebody can work on it, because somebody's going to have to work on it. These are aftermarket. A lot of these aftermarket parts are, sometimes they don't last as long as OE stuff that's been vetted a little better.
Right.
So, down the road, you might be, and like this guy right here, Fast Freddy, he's telling me that he's got cars on the road. He's been in business for, 15, 16 years. So he's got cars on the road that have aftermarket products that need to be upgraded, or something is happening with them. And then they go to rely on that company and they don't even make it anymore. So now you got to integrate new
New.
technology into a car that has, so it's a, it's interesting. It's just, you're trying to make sure that there's room for the next guy, almost. Not necessarily saying you're planning it for it to fail, but you need to plan for it to be serviceable. And if
Right.
you can't get your hand in to get a bolt out, it's pretty stupid.
I would say that that's a big difference between, like the first 90% is the easiest part, but like that last 10%
Oh
of
yeah,
any build is like the what's going to really matter down the road and for longevity.
yeah. I mean, this car had the motor and transmission, ProCharger, radiator, pretty much everything in it already. But everything was just mocked up. The everything was just tacked in / clinkoed in, and it wasn't. It looked like a car, but it certainly wasn't solid and
Right.
legit. I mean, if you took a couple hammers to some tacks, that shit would be moving around. So
Right.
everything's welded in, fucking super legit now. It's awesome. I'm excited to get everything farther, because this is a big step for me anyway.
Yeah, you see that a lot where somebody will like mock something up together because it looks like you made a bunch of progress. and you
Yeah.
don't even realize that it'll take 3 times as long as what they just did just to do the finish work on
Yeah.
welding and cleaning up the welds on, whatever that body part
Yeah.
is or floor.
I mean, you can mount an engine and transmission anywhere in a car and take some pictures and it looks fucking cool, but you got to connect everything. That's where when you adapting everything is all the forethought and making sure that there's enough room for steering, enough room for everything pretty much. Brake lines are going to be fun on here. We're going to have to go through the frame in a bunch of areas, and that's going to be really not very. There's just not a lot of area for the brake lines, so.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the guy that runs them under a frame rail.
Or through, like they were talking about running them through the tube like long ways. It's like, yeah, what if anything happens? You got to like literally have to split the body from the frame, pull that line all the way out because you never get it off with
Right.
the body on. So it's just, it creates so many other what if that I'm not going to be fixing a problem like that. If we can, it needs to be serviceable.
Yeah.
Need to get my hands in there, man. Plus, I mean, it's like serviceable is even, you need to get your hands in there while you're putting it together painted. My thing is like, we got to put this together painted and not scratch it. Like, oh my God. So yeah, it's got to be, the wife was helping me put it in the first time. That sounds bad.
Hey-o.
Hey, so we were kind of debating on whether we can keep the top of this radiator support like basically a factory front radiator support minus the bottom being cut out. But yeah, it's going to be a removable bolt-in piece because there's just not enough room. So there was just some testing that I would just like proof of theory as far as, this has to be accomplishable. So let's accomplish it,
Yeah, when you make it a bolt-in instead of a factory solid core support bar on the top, you can make it look factory
Yeah.
to the untrained eye, or you know what I mean, factory quality for sure.
And it's an aftermarket piece anyway. So I'm going to put some, I don't know how I'm going to make it more rigid, but we need to add some sheet metal to the backside or something to make it a little more rigid all the way across the top. This is the latch. That's where the latch hits. The factory latch support actually went down to the bottom of the radiator support, and we don't really have that because we don't have a bottom hoop of radiator support because of all the intercooler and everything is so tight. So it's fucking tight, man.
Just
all those coolers are packed in there.
order some hood pins from Jegs, you'll be fine.
Oh no, I have a working latch. It's just the support for the bottom went all the way down. So now I have to, it's not just, you can't leave it that latch just bolted to the top of that radiator support because it's like flimsy. So I have another bracket that I made for it, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I just don't want to have any chance of anything. I'd rather be overbuilt than underbuilt. So
Agreed.
I don't want it to be fucked up. If you need to open the hood, you need to open the hood. It's pretty important.
And you don't want the hood to open when it's not supposed to open.
That as well.
That's pretty important.
That as well. Yep. I worked in my auto body tech class. This kid he had a G body. It was a Cutlass, I think, and he put like this. He molded this fiberglass cowl into the flat hood. He should have just bought a cowl hood, but he spent all this time. He had the whole car bodyworked, painted. Like he painted the whole car. The thing was done. Went to go take it down the road. Forgot to put the hood latch in. Cowl, the hood went up, actually smashed the roof. The cowl of the hood went through the windshield. It was a rough day for that guy.
I there was an old or 69 Cutlass 442 that traded hands a few times in like the group of guys I knew. And when we were in high school age, and one of them was doing like 60 miles an hour in a 35 and didn't put the hood pins in or didn't latch the hood. And that hood came up and slammed the windshield and wrapped over the top of the roof.
Nice. I had a My piece of shit Sunbird, at one point it had been smashed. I think it hit a deer. So I had hood pins in it, and it was, oh yeah, it was,
High
it was a
performance.
turd, man. But yeah, that one day it was like it didn't start or something. I had to open the hood for something. It was just, I don't know. I had to be somewhere, and I was trying to hurry up. Didn't throw the pins back in it, and the hood came up, blew my sunroof out. It was a good time. I was
I
pretty mad.
realized
Not
the
myself.
the whole first episode where, or whatever episode that was, where you were talking about the Sunbird. I thought you were talking about a
Mhm.
Sunfire.
No, bird,
No,
dude,
my dad had a
bird.
Sunbird for like a daily driver back in the mid '90s. Red 2 door.
Oh no, it's got to be the teal two door, dude.
I
Got
actually
to be
took a
the teal.
picture the other day of a early '90s Grand Am here. I was going to send you.
There's actually a two door teal Sunbird on Marketplace up here for it's mint and it's like $7,000. Yeah, there's no reason for that.
seven
Yeah,
thousand dollars.
there
I'm
was one
surprised.
at the time when those came out though. It was faster than a Z28 uh, uh, Cavalier.
Oh, Z24.
Yeah, like the Z24, those had 2.4 liters. They made a Sunbird with a 3.1 6 or 5 speed.
Nice.
So that's, I mean, that 3.1, those things in Luminas, those things hauled ass. I mean, when we were kids, that was a pretty, I mean, you put your foot down and it went. And that in an even smaller car with a 5 speed. There was one in Marshfield that I can't remember what we were in, like when in the cruising days when people like street raced a little bit. And yeah, we pulled up next to a Sunbird with a 3.1 stick, and I had a 4-cylinder stick. So I'm like, holy shit, it's a V6 stick, you know, being a child I was. But yeah, that thing smoked us. Whatever, I can't remember what we were in, but it was fucking fast for little high schoolers back in the day.
Does anything have a worse exhaust note than a 60-degree GM V6?
They're so loud. Like, like even with full brand new exhaust, they pull into the yard, and you're like, oh yeah, they're here. Like I don't know why they were so loud, but yes, they were very loud.
I this comes up every episode. I bought a Fiero for $40 once that had a 3.1 in the back,
Sure,
and then I sold
because
the
those never.
wheels for
They had a version that came with a 3.1 though, didn't it?
a 2.8.
I swear there was a guy that came into Quick Trip when I worked there that had claiming he had a 3.1, or maybe he put it in there.
Yeah, so it's the 2.8
Goddamn
is the
Fiero
60
talk.
degree. Yeah, every single time. I haven't talked as much about Fieros in years, but it was a bolt up. So because the 2.8 was, I think, one of the early 60-degree V6s, and then the 3.1 was just a bigger version of it. But I saw it on Craigslist for $40, and I had to drive like an hour to go pick up a $40
Mm.
Fiero. Free motor. I tried putting that motor in another car later, and then just one of many projects that didn't amount to anything. But
I feel there.
speaking of 60-degree V6 Fieros, when I was living in Wyoming, I bought a whole 2 storage sheds or storage building units full of Fiero parts from a dude, and he was an aerospace engineer, and he had
Why?
like I don't know, uh, he had an '88 Fiero GT that he put a 3.8 supercharged in, and this
Oh,
dude, because he was an aerospace engineer, he had like full his computer was full of folders for each part that he like manufactured, like
oh
down
shit.
to like this is how I made the air condition lines, and he made GM style factory air conditioning lines for the 3.8 supercharged in the back. I mean, this car looked better. It was like OEM plus in
Sure.
when you pop the deck lid on it and looked at the motor. It was like OEM plus, and he had every single little thing documented, like all the little clips and all the bolts and stuff like that, like super meticulous. But the thing was like 300 something wheel horsepower, and it suited. I,
I bet.
he was trying to sell it to me for like $6,000 back then, and am kind of an idiot for not buying it, honestly. But
Yeah, it's a lot of money for something like that, though. Back then, I mean,
back
it'd
then
be
it was
like
a lot of money.
15 grand now. I think, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
Yeah.
buy. You're looking for a car for 10 grand that actually is nice. That's impossible. You're starting at like 15, 20 grand for something that might not be desirable, but might be nice, you know, in the classic car stuff.
Yeah, I save a lot of money by buying things that are like half price because they have a lot of little things wrong with them, and then I just take care of all of it in a weekend
Well, sometimes that's achievable.
with a lot of shopping around.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell everybody where to find you online?
Oh, you can find me on the line on the Instagram, the YouTube, the Facebook. You got Hungry Hella Customs on all of them. I just recently realized that YouTube is what a fantastic place that is with views and stuff. Holy shit. But yeah, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere at Terror Shark TV, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Is there other places?
Discord?
Patreon. You can catch all of our podcasts in video form on patreon.com/F_CKINGCARS. And last week we released a short kind of lost footage episode, full video for free. It's free over on Patreon. It's free on YouTube. And you can see the 66 Fastback with the Coyote and the ProCharger sitting right
Oh,
there
yeah.
squinting. And then he's got, power hammers behind him. The bumper he was talking about. You can even get a little sneak peek of his style line behind him. The sled of lead. Oh, he's turning it. Let's go full video. And yeah, so you can get a better idea. I think when I edit this one, I'm going to throw in when I'm talking about my truck. I'll throw in a couple pictures of that so you guys can
Yeah,
get
that's
an
a great
idea
idea.
of what we're talking about. And yeah, for just $5 a month, you can go over there, and every week you're going to get a video. We release them early on there, and you can get the full scoop and help support the channel so we can keep making these videos and these podcasts and getting them out to everybody. Till next time, keep fucking with cars.
Keep fucking with cars.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
On audio form everywhere you listen to podcasts. If you want to see it in video, you can go to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/F_CKINGCARS. And just for $5 a month, you can get all of our podcasts in video format, extra bloopers at the end, so you can get a little bit more feel. You can see some of the things we're working on, even some of our more inappropriate moments, and help support the channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification so you get notified every week when we post a new episode.